At the time I got my shot of radiation poisoning, my mother was having some kind of cop or something or other put over her sunroom. She had a man putting cop or something. Or I mean, I was just. I wish I could find the words to explain how I felt. I can't do it. I can't find words for this. And I feel like I'm not getting my message across when I say I was in agony, and no one ever seems to understand. I just always get this blank stare back. It's like I don't even get anybody going, oh, that's never anything like that, or oh my God, never. When I try to describe how I felt back then, all I get is this from everybody. We don't get it. What the hell are you talking? We don't get it. No one gets it. So it's been over 40 years. So how do I feel trying to talk about things like this? I feel like it's hopeless. By now, I feel like nobody's understood. Nobody ever will. So I'm ready to give up. Well, anyway, my mother was having this copper something or other, a lot of copper being used over her sunroom, probably to keep leaks. Those sunlight she had there. Is that what they're called? Sunlights? I can't even remember. They're like clear coverings. So over in your roof to let light in. Those are called sunlights, aren't they? Anyway, they were leaking all the time, so I think she was having copper, like paneling, a copper roof put in that was going to somehow stop those leaks. But anyway, it was at that, I was just in agony, and, people are moving all around me, the copper, this, and talking. And I just remember being like in a kind of delirium, like kind of like I don't know how to describe it. Like I was like I'm going to say in a coal mine, in kind of like a nightmare delirium, in a kind of darkish space, hearing people talking about what copper. Putting this copper roof in. Well, all these years later, I'm interested in directed microwaves as a weapon, and I've been saying, as incredible as it may sound to anybody who hears or sees this, I believe a weapon like that has been being used on me. And I see today, for the first time, I looked today, I said, I don't think I ever directly asked this question. I was too afraid to. I asked the internet, I said, can sheet metal block directed microwaves? And I got the answer back, yes. Now, about 5 years ago, just out of the blue, when I was living out in Colorado, trying to move to Colorado. Here's another story that makes me feel hopeless. Since we got cheated out of living in Colorado, yeah. Hard to believe, right? Doesn't happen. But I'm out in Colorado. We bought some land, and we were living on our land in our trailer. I'll show you the trailer. Still have the trailer. And I'm not going to let go of that trailer for anything. That trailer is Very valuable in my opinion. Here it is. See the trailer there? Okay, so we're living in that trailer on our land, and I was having these stomach troubles, you know. And I'd been having stomach troubles for years, but now when I'm driving and so on, I'm getting nauseous, you know, so sick that I can hardly drive. And one night I'm driving on this dangerous road along the Arkansas River, which snakes along the canyon-type areas of the Rocky Mountains. It's late at night, and I got a car like 6 inches from my bumper on this dark, winding road. There's nobody else in the road. I got a car like tailing me from 6 inches behind my bumper, headlights blaring, and there's no place to pull over. And the cars are not supposed to pass, right? So I'm going to get out and fight some. I don't fight. So I'm putting up with that. And meanwhile, I'm so nauseous, I'm starting to gag while driving like that over my steering wheel. Finally, I found a place to pull over, and I did, and then I just got down on my knees outside my truck, and I'm just retching uncontrollably. So with things like that happening to me, I said, I never had stomach troubles like this, and I don't have motion sickness. I said, something's causing this. So you know what I did? Not having asked the question that I just said I've asked 5 years later. Today, in fact, I asked the internet to sheet metal block directed microwaves. Not knowing the answer to that, and not knowing the science of electromagnetic energy at all, I went to Home Depot like the next day and bought a piece of sheet metal that I still have, but it's upstairs. Well, why not get it? Who am I talking to anyway? Probably nobody. So I'm in no hurry. I got this sheet metal still. It's a little bent because I've bent it this way and that way when trying to use it. But okay, here's the sheet metal. Okay, I put a Jewish star on it with tape, but as you see, I've changed the shape of the thing, and so you can't see the star. But that's the original piece I bought, and I started to when I'm driving my truck, I started to put it like this over my chest. I just sat it there in front of me when I drove. And then when I went to bed at night, I started to put it over my chest and sleep with it. Well, guess what? The stomach troubles, and I also had a cough bothering me all the time. They started to go away. So I started to continue to experiment, and I'm still experimenting to this day. Now, I was just wanted to say that back then, when I was it was just after I had gotten that shot, was propelled into that agony that lasted 2 years, that I hear, my mother's having copper roofing installed over her sunroom to stop leaks. I mean, when you start thinking about the metaphorical meanings of all these things, at least when I do now, I'm wondering how much my mother might have known or not known about what I'm going to call the diabolism of her husband, the man who tried to kill me with that shot of radiation poisoning. Now, how much did she or did she not know? Because when I was much younger, She took us to see a movie. This movie. And it's about these guns. At the time of World War II. Now, her husband had been in World War II, but he had been in the war against Japan. So she actually got him to go to this movie. So the whole family went. And I'm wondering, I'm saying I've been up against this weapon you could call a gun. And it's kind of like those guns in Navarone, right? Those guns in Navarone were guns in the, I don't know the geography, agency around Greece somewhere. And they were blocking naval assistance from the Allies to men who were trapped on an island and were going to be slaughtered by Germans. So to get ships through to carry these men off the island where they were cornered, they had to get by these guns, so these guns had to be knocked out. Okay, and they were. This is apparently a true story, although at the beginning of the movie it says the legend of Navarone. So is this a true story or not? Anyway, why did my mother take us to see that movie? Why? I'll have to come back to this discussion because it's a very difficult discussion for me to try to find words for.